Hello, everybody, and welcome to another tabletop stream with your host, Tabletop Junkie. Sorry, guys, a bit early in the morning. I'm still working on my first cup of coffee. Actually, it's probably about 2 cups now, but who's counting, right? So, today we are going to talk about dice, d20 dice, and I've got a bunch of d20 dice right here, bunch of pictures to show you. This is what a set of d20 looks like, minus that there's another 10 dice. There's another dice that has 10 on it, but it's like, it goes from like, you know, 000 to 90, 90. So we'll talk about this in a little bit. So here we go. We're gonna start talking about what each of these dice are, and we're gonna just talk about them. So here we go. We're gonna dive right in here. Give me 1 second because I actually had something up earlier today that actually would help out with this. A nice little aid for me, not you. There we go. Somebody actually made a fandom of dice. You can go look this stuff up online. So, which I think is fine. That's just cool. So, this type of dice, D20s, are generally used for various types of systems, such as OSR, OSE, and D20 itself. So let's just dive right in here with each of the different type of dice. So we're gonna start. Sorry, that was my fat cat, one of my fat cats. So we're gonna start off with the very basic one, the D4, also known as the tetrahedron, which is, it's got 4 faces, and it's an equilateral triangle. Unlike other common dice, a 4-sided die does not have a side that faces upward. When it is when it's on a rest of a surface, so it must be read in a different way. Each face has three numbers arranged such that an upright number placed either near the vortex or near the opposite edge is the same on all 3 sides. The upright numbers represents the value of the roll. So, so it's basically the number that's at the tip of the triangle. So it could be 1, 2, 3, or 4. I wish I had a better one to show you, a more lively one. Let me see if I can find a picture of what a D4 actually looks like. I do not have one that I personally like. 00 to 90, bah, real gamers use 2 different colored D10s. That too. So, we'll talk about that in a minute. So I don't really have any dice I could I do have dice I could show you, but I don't have my camera really angled correctly to where you're going to be able to see it pretty easily. So we're going to have to worry about that another time. But I will promise you that it will probably be another stream that I will be doing. Let's talk about the D6, which is what everyone is used to. Basically, it's the D6, or called the hexahedron, which is, basically 6 different sides, numbers ranging from 1 to 6. A common dice, the sum of the numbers on opposite faces is 7. So, yeah. I don't know what that means. We're just going to say that. So, but it's 6-sided, we use them. You use them for regular games. Even when you just roll regular dice, those are D6s, and those do count. So, let's talk about the D8, or the octahedron. Which is basically equilateral triangles, up and down. So this die resembles 2 square pyramids attached base to base, and that's basically all it is. And it has numbers ranging from 1 to 8. I think the D8 is my most favorite one. I'm just going to say that. I don't know if it's going to be the D8 or another one that we will talk about here in a moment, but I do know it will definitely be, the D8 is up there as my most favorite. And then the D10. Now, this picture, I hate it. But I needed it for this specific thing. I think I might have even edited this one. The D10, also known as the pentagonal trapezoidahedron, also known as the 10 kites. This die does have some sharp corners, but, not enough to cut you or anything. Commonly used in many games, including the White Wolf Publishing and the Onyx Publishing games of the World of Darkness. Now, the problem that I do have with this dice, but like I said, I needed it to resemble 10 on this face here, is that the D10 does not range from 1 to 10, meaning from 1 to 10. It actually just ranges from 0 to 9, with 0 representing the 10. Isn't it a bit odd that you could literally have numbers on a D6 in any arrangement, but every version goes with the opposite sides add up to 10 metal? Yes. Yep, I do agree with that. A little bit weird, but I'm not into dice designing. I'm pretty sure there's probably even a I hate to say it, there's probably even a degree for that. So yes, these dice here represent 0 to 9. Now, there is another dice that's called the 10-10s dice, which when you use with this D10 here, that ranges from 0 to 9, which is a normal one, which is just single. The 10-10s dice, the reason why we call it that is because it's double 0, 0, 0, goes up to 9-0, which represents 0, 0 represents 0, and then 9-0 represents 90. Now, you can get 100. Now, when you get a single 0 on the regular D10s, which was supposed to represent 10, and then you're supposed to get a double 0, and you get a double 0 on the other dice, that represents 100%, and that is a fumble. So, yeah. So, I don't have a picture of that dice. I wish that I did. But, I mean, excuse me. Oh, man. Coffee. But you don't really use it unless you're rolling percentiles. So, mainly Call of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu uses the percentiles very heavily. And I actually gotta say, I'm falling in love with that one. I played Call of Cthulhu the last couple days. That was kind of fun. Played it with my kids. My kids loved it. They have a strange love-hate relationship with that game. So, yep, there we go. That's the D10, and then we talked about the percentiles. Next, we're going to talk about the D12, which I think is personally, I think that one actually takes the cake as my absolute favorite. The reason for it is because it's hardly ever used. It's only used in D20, OSR, and OSE systems, and you don't really hear about it being used before. It is known as the dodecahedron, 12 regular pentagons. The sum of the numbers on opposite faces is usually 13. I'm not sure where all these descriptions are coming from. These are actual descriptions, actual notes on these dice that actually do kind of, I don't want to say do kind of exist, they do exist, so it happens. So, the D12, like I said, is very rarely ever used. I think I might just design a system where you roll a D12. Which era of Cthulhu? Okay, Colin, I do have, I have actually put them in modern day, so they can have regular shotguns, because, I mean, they are kids, and they don't know much about the 1920s yet. They learned that in high school. These kids are technically middle school, and I probably shouldn't have introduced it to them, but I figure, well, we'll keep it clean. So, they survived 3 sessions of Call of Cthulhu. One went insanely sad, one went insanely mad, and then was possessed by a spirit. Another one died in an explosion, and the other one did survive and got their NPC friend out, which was named George, and they went to safety, but the player has came to me and think that she would not be in the mood to meet anyone else because she lost people she was close to, and at this point she's kind of really messed up. She does still have a lot of sanity left, but she went through a lot of stuff and has not received hardly any medical help for it. And currently is on the most wanted list poster that is surviving. So, yeah. So there's really not much. They can't really see. She, this player even said, she can't really see playing this character much more. So middle school is exactly the right age for Cosmic Core. Yeah. Yep. So, But we're getting a little bit off topic here. Let's continue with the D12. So, as I said, it's one of the very rarely used dice, but so I think it's got to take my number one. I think I might just design a system that uses D12s, but we will talk about that another time. And then we are going to go with my personal favorite, the D20. The most commonly known, I would say, as among the D20 gamers and Dungeons and Dragons, D20, OSE, OSR, including the modifius 2D20, and many other systems, is the icosahedron. Icosahedron, also known as the 20 equilateral triangles. Many different typical names. And this is commonly used in almost every single system you could probably think of. Almost. Not quite there, but close. Crazy, isn't it? So, it is the most commonly one. We definitely do use it in Castle Crusades, Dungeons and Dragons, and I do believe there are other games. 2d20 is where you roll 2d20 and you have to score under the number. Your target numbers are always are under your attributes and abilities. I do play this with Star Trek Adventures. I love 2d20. I'm actually trying to develop generic 2d20 rules to play Super Sentai or my personal favorite Power Rangers, including probably even common Kamen Riders. So who knows? I'm a nerd. What can I say? Okay, sorry about that. I had to put the stream on hold for a minute. I just had someone come to my door. Um, you know, just had a delivery in a sense, but not quite. So, amen to that. Anyway, so yeah, that is basically all the D20 dice. There are other different types of dice out there in systems, such as the specialized dice that you use with Genesis Core or Edge of or commonly, that system is commonly used with the Edge of Empire, Age of Rebellion, and Force and Destiny with Star Wars by Fantasy Flight Games. There are other even type of odd dice, specialized dice, such as the D2, the D3, and other opposite things for Dungeon Crawl Classics. And then you can't forget about the Fate dice for Fate Core, Fudge, and many more. And like I said, there is many more different types of dice out there. We will definitely have to probably just talk, sit down and have an entire stream devoted to dice. Dice is always fun to play with. I love dice games. Some people like diceless games. I don't. I like dice games personally. So that is everyone's personal preference, though. We're going to take this one away. And let's see. I don't think I have anything else to really talk. This was supposed to just be a small, moderate stream. I do have some other things I do have to do today, which is sad, but happy at the same time. So, with that further ado, Colin, thank you so much for joining the stream, and anybody else who's going to view this. I definitely love, love the audience. So, I would like to say for everyone, please work hard, play hard, game hard, go out there and buy some dice. Have a great and wonderful day.